Good morning to you. This is Breakfast with Stephen and Anne.
It is indeed. Time to go through the papers again. Joining us this morning is radio legend David Hamilton and broadcaster Claire Muldoon. And it's lovely to see you both. We went through the headlines last time. I don't think we need to this time. Should we get straight into the papers?
Yes, let's. With the Sun on Sunday, David, and Prince Andrew furious.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yes, he's beside himself.
Oh.
His favourite place to be.
Well, yes.
It is the latest blow for Prince Andrew. His bodyguards are being axed. Apparently, they've been costing us £3 million a year. What happens is that he is escorted by armed police guards every time he leaves Windsor Castle. After being stripped of his royal duties, he is now no longer entitled to a bodyguard. And one Labour MP has put the boot in, and he said he doesn't seem to realise that he's in disgrace and people don't want to hear from him anymore, especially with his begging bowl.
They've got a point, though.
He doesn't seem to realise he's in
No, I
disgrace,
don't think
does
he
he?
does.
No, but he's not been stripped from his HRH title, though, the way Diana was, and her police protection officers were removed. Some say at the cost of her life. But you know, Prince Andrew, who
She was married into the. You can lose your HRH if you're married in.
Yeah,
You can't really
if
lose
you're
it
born.
So was it King Charles that said that he should be stripped, or did he strip him of the police
No,
protection?
it was the Queen.
It was the Queen.
It was the Queen, yeah.
So why is Andrew
Decided
making a
quite
big
well.
fuss of it then?
Well, I suppose you do. I mean, you could argue that he needs his bodyguards even more than usual now at the moment, doesn't he? But because nobody likes him particularly.
Stay at home.
But yes, I think he needs to learn to live a much more private life, doesn't he?
Yeah. What about I'm a Celeb in the Sunday Mirror, Claire?
Well, I've been watching it, and I love it, and I can't believe we've got an MP in there, but we've discussed that before. And indeed, he's
Not
down
for the
now.
first time, though.
Well, no, but I don't think any of the mothers were actually MPs, live MPs when they were in. It was Nadine Dorries.
Nadine Dorries was. Yeah.
But he's had the whip removed, obviously, before he arrived in Matt Hancock. But the star of the show for me is Jill Scott. She is one fantastic woman. She's very witty. She's very quick. She's very intelligent. She's a grafter. She's not afraid of hard work.
She's a footballer, is she?
She's the ex-lioness.
Right.
She's now retired, and she's wonderful. And what the press are saying is, because of her attributes that she has shown in the jungle camp, she is actually a marketing diamond now.
She absolutely is.
Everyone will want a piece of
I mean, the
her.
strength of women's football.
And there's not that
for a
much of
start.
her to get a piece
And
of.
somebody who can commentate and talk about sport with
Yes.
real personality. She is set to have a really
Well,
good
it
media
did no harm to Harry Redknapp, did he? Did it?
No.
He did very well out of it.
No.
I must say, I don't actually watch it. It's not really my cup of tea.
No, I've never seen
And
it.
I was just thinking, what was Matt Hancock doing in there? I mean, he's not a celebrity, is he? He's a
But he wants to
politician.
be.
He should remember the old age that politics is show business for ugly people.
That's a very good
Not heard
point.
that
So he's going
I've
all
not
the way
heard it
around.
before, but I like it.
Yeah. But he has done worryingly. He's actually done particularly
Yes, he
well.
has.
He's still in the final. There's a young Hollyoaks actor, age 23, Owen, and then Jill and Matt Hancock because Sarah Phillips' husband Mike Tyndall
He's
left
left now.
last night after the funniest show that part of the show they actually do. But Jill Scott, legend.
Oh, well.
I would watch it if Ant and Dec actually did a trial.
That gets me.
They did
I'd like
do
to
it
see
before,
them do
years ago.
something. You know,
they?
that would
Yeah.
Yes, it annoys me they stand on the sidelines just
Yeah.
laughing at everybody else.
What a gig, eh?
Yeah, I know.
They are very
£1
good.
million pounds to get paid for that.
Yeah.
David, in the
Yes.
Sunday People, the story which explains why over the years you had so little success with the ladies.
Yes, exactly. Well, very pertinent that you should say that. Apparently, a survey tells us that women are turned on by men with big ears. There's one lady from St Albans who says big ears are more manly. I find them a big turn on, and men with big ears are definitely better in bed. She said, I dated a guy with small ears, and he was a big disappointment.
Oh, well, there you go.
There's nothing you can say to that except that it's in the Sunday People.
Well, the only thing I can say is that I've got the smallest ears in the world.
You're a very small ears.
Yes,
Well, you've been happily married for decades.
I've heard about big feet, but I've never heard about big ears. But this must be great news for Prince Charles and also for Gary Lineker, who up until now everybody thought it was his money that was the attraction.
Yeah.
Well, there you
Funny
go.
that.
It's all down to the ears.
No, I think it's
all
more down to the bank balance.
So,
In the Sunday, moving swiftly on,
Yes.
David. In the Sunday Times, Nicola Sturgeon, her time is up, according to the paper.
Yeah, well, we don't buy papers, I don't think, now to get the news. We buy them for opinion pieces, and Alex Massey is a terrific journalist, and his headline is "Whisper it quietly, Sturgeon's time is up." Worryingly, we do have to whisper things like this because the vitriol from the nationalists is unbelievable. If anybody actually comes out and criticises the cabal of the SNP and Nicola Sturgeon's head at Bute House, they would say that they have won numerous elections and they have got the majority for independence. But it is not actually the case. The problem with Scotland is there's not enough people turning up to vote, right? So they've got in, they say with the majority, but with 30 to 40% of the electorate actually voting.
Well,
the SNPs are in charge at the again. This democracy, you can't
democracy.
argue against democracy.
That's the people's fault.
That is
isn't
the
it?
and that's what I've just said. But however, the SNP actually are now they're in a coalition with the Green Party. That's why they're there. And with the Supreme Court judgment that was just released on Monday or Tuesday of this week, apparently the minute the Lord Justice said it was a unanimous vote, everybody within the SNP realised that it just wasn't going to happen. And of course that was whether or not it was legal for them to take another referendum vote in October 2023. So that's put the kibosh on that at the moment, right? So if basically the SNP's point is independence, there is evidence to suggest that the independent movement is waning in Scotland at the moment. What then is left? Okay, who then, where politically is it going
Where
to
do you
go?
go?
And for me, films like Braveheart, that's like the crown for Scottish history for me. It's a parody, but it's a great film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a parody. But, to get this independence, how on earth are they going to do it? So it'd be interesting to see what Nicola's going to come out with now. And I'll tell you, she's actually said it's going to be Plan C. Plan C is to have the general election as a de facto referendum on independence. And it's crucial that everybody goes out.
Well, so that's not necessarily a bad thing, is it? If it, because it may well kill it dead.
It might very well, Stephen, but unfortunately it's not legitimate, because in order to have a de facto referendum, you have to have both sides in agreement politically in terms of power. So Westminster would have to agree that it would be
Westminster won't
used
agree.
for that,
Well,
as well as Holyrood trying to push
Well,
it.
Westminster's already said no.
But it wouldn't be a referendum. She's not saying it would actually be a legally binding referendum in that sense. She's just saying that the argument would be, if you say we're having this as an independence referendum election, then if they get more than 50%, they've got a much clearer message to take to Westminster.
Yeah,
just
of
prolongs
course
it.
that's what
Oh,
she
it
would
does.
say, but it would just prolong it, because she was elected in 2014 after Alex Salmond to move in as the first Scottish minister and the first female, the longest serving female minister. I mean, that's something in itself. However, I don't think the appetite is there in Scotland. I've got friends, all my family are still there. They're not in support of it, and to use it, to linchpin it onto Brexit, I think is damaging, severely damaging.
And don't you think, we've been talking about this and having views from everybody watching, and the overwhelming opinion, at least coming in from people watching, is that we've got bigger things to think about at the moment, like just how to pay our next energy bill. Just shut up about referendums.
But she hasn't, has she?
No. But she's beginning to look tired on it.
I think independence for Scotland would be the worst thing that could happen financially
agree.
for Scotland.
She's beginning to make the issue tiresome.
Yeah, banging on about
People
the
are just
same old
fed
thing.
up with it. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Look, on that note, we've got to leave it.
But you'll be back.
You will be back with more cheery
good.
things.
Yes.
Oh,
Noses next hour,
okay,
David.
big noses.
Big
Oh,
noses.
please.
Who knows? As it were.
Who knows? No pun intended.
No pun
That was-
intended. Thank you both very much indeed. Get out.